Good evening, ladies. Hello, hello. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. I'm going to wait just a minute to let people join. Hi, Pam. Thanks for joining again. Tonight is my favorite night. As you're hopping on, say hello. How are you feeling today? What's going on today? It's Wednesday. I thought it was Thursday for a while. Good. I'm just going to give it another minute or so before we get started. If you haven't already, you can go to the Files tab. You can print out the 5-day homework and follow along with Unit 3 homework. Success is a feeling, not an outcome. Hey, Lachey, how are you? I've got all my names. Let me pull up the wheel. I've got all my names ready to go and my note. We're going to stop halfway through and spin the wheel. Let me know how you're doing tonight. What's on your mind? How have you been feeling for the past 3 days after the videos? Any questions, any feelings that are coming up? Any feedback for me? Let me know. When are you ladies due? I know, Pam, you're due kind of March. Are you due in March? And Lachey, where are you at? Alyssa, hi Alyssa. Lachey, I can't wait to tune in every night. Such a great thing you're doing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love doing it. March 18th here. Okay, so I think you and Pam are kind of close, right, Pam? And Alyssa, I just asked the group, where is everybody at? When are you due, or are you planning in the planning stages? Let me know. Let me know how you're feeling, and we're going to get started. Today, I know I say this every time. I'm going to try to keep it to 40 minutes, but with this, like, my worksheet's filled in, and then I've got notes all around and notes on the back. Oh my God. I'm excited to have this dialogue during my first pregnancy, due April 8th. Good. This is huge. Are any of you working with doulas or childbirth education classes? What are you guys doing right now to prepare? Good. This came at a great time for you ladies. I'm excited to have you. All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to go through the worksheet first and get that filled out. Alyssa, hello. I missed Unit 2's live video, but I was in the middle of watching it, but I'm hoping I can tune in today and still be able to follow along. Yep, absolutely. I'm not due. I'm hoping for a VBAC next go-round, whenever that is. My son is turning 1 next week. That's fantastic. Happy birthday, birthing day to you. This is how I'm preparing. I want a doula next time. I feel like I need one. Awesome. I'm a little bit biased, so I'm going to say yes, you do need one. All right, so we're going to go right through this, fill this out, get that going, and then I've got lots of notes here to talk about Unit 3 today. Success is a feeling, not an outcome. So I've been kind of building on that since day one, is that I want you to really get into a feeling. Hi, Christina. How do you want to feel during pregnancy, during birth, during postpartum? How do you want to be talked to, treated? Who do you want around you? All these things, we're creating an environment. And so a lot of times I'll say too, though, kind of sounding contradictory, that, what do I say? Success is a feeling, it's not an success is a feeling, it's not an outcome. So the way I work as a doula is that I don't base my success or even my clients' success on the outcomes. Well, if they had a cesarean, I don't feel like a failure. If they got an epidural, if they didn't want one, I don't feel like a failure. And they shouldn't either. That's why I say it's a feeling, it's not an outcome. However, what I will say is that your outcomes are directly related to your birth principles, which we created on day one. It's that why factor. Why do I want what I want? What are my underlying values and beliefs and philosophies? And so it's your motivation, it's your determination. So even though I don't truly believe success is in an outcome, I do believe your outcome is directly related to your motivation and your determination. How motivated are you? What is motivating you? How determined are you? What work are you going to put in? What classes are you going to take? What education, videos, hiring a doula, all these things. It's great to have a vision and a dream and a goal, but you have to, it goes beyond that. You have to take the steps, the aligned steps to get you to that dream, that vision, that goal. So that being said, day one, and I know I said this yesterday, I didn't ask you to write out your most desired dream birth plan just for it not to happen and you get disappointed. But again, I'm just really wanting us to create that feeling and those principles, to learn what our values are, what our beliefs are, and again, that feeling. That's why I say it's success is a feeling. Lachey. I have a doula, but I'm a VBAC client, so in LA we have to birth in a hospital. I see a VBAC supportive provider. Good, so important. So I just have two little things before we get started on the sheet. A quick little story that's going to totally seem insignificant for a minute, but I'm going to start with it, and then I'm going to end with it. And so my friend, a few months ago, she got a new car. She got a Chevy, and she said, notice the plus sign, the Chevy symbol. She goes, notice that it's black. She says, I had no idea that Chevys had a special edition. It's called Black Bow, the little emblem. Normally a Chevy emblem is gold. And she goes, this is special edition. You have to pre-order it. It's, more expensive or whatever. And she said that somebody gifted it to her, that they called and said, give her a black bow emblem or whatever. So who knew this? I don't know. Did anyone know that Chevy has a special edition black bow? So I just wanted to bring that up for a moment because ever since then, I kind of started noticing these black bows. And that's a quick story that seems totally irrelevant right now, and I'm going to close with it too. So we're going to circle right back to that. My other story today is going to also tie into what we're talking about, mindset. And that's just today, how today was for me. I was having a standard okay day. And then I went out and something annoyed me. And then everything after that, it was like a snowball effect. Everything really irritated me. And I was totally acting out and just like grumpy, irritated, frustrated. And then I just had to all the things were happening. The universe was testing me. And, a few weeks ago we found out we had to start looking to get a new roof, and we're also planning a trip and my dad's surprise party. And then our car insurance, said that they were going to drop us for stuff that happened years ago. And then my husband called me he was having an oil change today and said, can you come pick me up? There's more problems than just an oil change. And I was like, yeah, this is the way the day's going. So give me all the things. These are all the tests. And then after he called and said, pick me up, I was just exhale. And then I wasn't mad. I just said, it's going to be fine. It's fine. It's going to be covered. And then he texted me right after that and said, they likely said that my warranty's going to cover it. And I just said, thank you. See? But I just had to stop. I just had to like stop the cycle of me being in this icky, non-grateful, grumpy, irritable place, because that's what I was attracting all day long. And that's what we're talking about today. And so, following along with our worksheet, we're going to start to fill it out. I want you to get excited. Let's build unshakable confidence, unbreakable trust. And so, how, with who, where do we start? So, yes, your provider and your facility are important for sure. Like Lachey said, I'm a VBAC and I have a VBAC supportive provider. That is a huge example of when it is necessary to trust and, have confidence in your facility, in your provider. Those are important. But when you have 150% confidence and trust in yourself and in the process, I might challenge the rest of it and say, is that stuff as important? Like, if you have unshakable confidence, unbreakable trust, then you're going to have no problem standing up for the things that you need to stand up for and speaking out when you need to speak out and knowing your shit, right? Like knowing the facts, knowing the stats, having a partner who knows it as well. Like I said, yes, those things are important, facility provider, but when we are like off the charts soaring with confidence and trust in ourselves and in the process of nature, those things kind of become secondary, right? Do you feel me on that? Let me know. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know where you're at on a scale of like confidence and trust with yourself and the process. Like, where are you at and how can we keep moving forward with that? How do you feel? So yeah, leave all the comments, hit all the emojis. This was another random story I'm telling you that the other day I thought to myself, I'm also a yoga teacher and I cue yoga poses and teach based on like what feedback I'm getting from my students and their bodies and how they're reacting in class. And it's hard when you're live and you can't see everybody's reactions or see their faces. And so yeah, hearts and thumbs and comments, that helps me. Totally, Alyssa says yes. So, a thing I want to bring up is called the unconscious bias. And funny example I got. Does anyone have sort of an idea what the unconscious bias would be? It's not on the part that we're filling out. It's just a side note I have here. And so our unconscious bias is like when you're researching stuff, when you're doing your research, it's like our subconscious already has like a question and answer formulated in our brain. Like we know what we want subconsciously. It just hasn't come up to the conscious yet. So when we're researching and searching and asking for opinions, and we're kind of searching for what we want, right? And so somebody said to me once, if you're looking for somebody to say that, a diet of pizza and wings and ice cream and laying on the couch is the best diet in the world, you could have 100 no's and that one person that says yes. And you're going to be like, yep, I knew it, right? Like, I knew it. And that's an unconscious bias. So like our subconscious knows what it is that we're looking for. And we kind of like skew our own research to support the things that we want. Pamela says, I'm feeling more confident in my body, but being first-time pregnancy, I feel I have no idea what to expect, which is hard to feel confident in. Exactly. So feeling confident in the unknown. And yesterday kind of talks about like, how can we, when we don't know, how can we, that's why we want to just create a feeling. We want to be able to remain in that feeling. That's what we know how to do. Even when the external things are changing, how can I stay calm? How can I stay focused and clear? And what tools are going to help you? Your breath, maybe it's music, things like that. What can we control in our environment to keep us somewhat in control of the unknown, right? And so I wanted to talk about that unconscious bias, and when we're doing research, kind of notice that, like, what are you leaning towards? If you find an article that seems sort of evidence-based but isn't supporting what you want, like, that's kind of a trigger. Like, what is it that you want? What are you looking for? So now start to be aware of that unconscious bias when you're looking for things. Back to the worksheet, let's talk about the brain for a moment. The conscious brain is that of logic and reason. Our thinking brain is what tries to keep us safe from perceived threat. That's huge. So it's our everyday brain, our turned on multitasking, working at home, all this stuff that we're doing, making dinner, grocery shopping, whatever it is, our thinking brain, it's analyzing, it's thinking, it's being logical. And its main goal is to keep us safe. Because we are only as old as our first trauma. Like, our brain is only as old as our first trauma. So whatever that was for you, it might have just been the first time you were reprimanded as a kid and you got scared, or the first time you ran out and almost ran into somebody else and got scared. And so every time we react now when there's like an emergent situation or a trauma, we're reacting from that place of that kid. And so our perceived threat, and so our conscious brain is trying to keep us safe. And our perception of fear only enhances pain. So that's why people have different, I guess, like levels of pain tolerance, is maybe because somebody fears the pain more than somebody else. So fear raises our perception of pain. If we can cut that fear out, kind of get out of that conscious thinking brain, we can bypass sort of that perceived threat. So most of the time, it shrinks us down. This is our thinking brain. It shrinks us down. It keeps us playing small because it is comfortable in a familiar routine. Can't blame it, right? Like, we all like our familiar routine. That's where we feel safe. Switching to the unconscious brain. This brain doesn't reason and can't differentiate between what is real and what is not. That's a huge point. So kind of going back to that unconscious bias where we're kind of looking for things that are swayed the way that we want it to. And so our unconscious brain has no logic, has no reason. It can't tell the difference between what's real or what's not. And this is actually a good thing, right? This means that anything we tell our subconscious brain, it believes it. So we can control our subconscious brain through subliminal messages, which happens all day, every day. All the things that we see and hear in our periphery, all of the stories coming from friends and families, probably horror stories about birth and labor, just like marketing, ads that we see and colors that we pick up on. And this is all subliminal, but it's all sending signals to our subconscious brain, which eventually filter up to our conscious brain, and that affects the way that we move about and act in our daily life. So why not feed it like good, positive, gratitude, high vibe stuff? And I'll get into that a little later. So that's a good thing. This means anything we tell our subconscious mind it believes, from our subconscious brain believing whatever we tell it, it travels to our conscious, and that becomes thoughts. Thoughts become actions. Actions define our value. The power of the I am affirmation is that it is set, written, spoken in the present tense, as if it's already happening. So this is huge. If you're working with me, if I'm your doula, I'm giving you a pad of Post-its and some dry erase markers when you hire me. And I'm going to say, write out affirmations, Use the dry erase marker, write love notes on your mirror. I don't know if you can see behind me in that mirror. Up at the top, I've got a whole bunch of affirmations. At the bottom, I've got a whole bunch of affirmations. Every mirror in my house has positive love notes to myself. I have Post-its on my fridge and my cupboards, in my car, and that's me just every day feeding the subconscious. Like, I am healed, I am healthy, I am strong, I'm determined, I'm brave. Feed yourself these messages. They can be kind of broad like that, but also get really specific, right? Like, I have a client right now whose baby hasn't flipped yet, and I said, get on that affirmation. Baby is head down, baby is in the perfect position. Write it in the present tense as if it's happening. If your brain can see it, can see the result, that means it's possible to happen. If you, like day one, I said, write out your birth story, exactly the way you want it to go. And the power in that is not that it happens exactly the way that you wrote it, but the power is that if you can see it, if you can envision it, that means that maybe someone else had it happen, or that you can see it so clearly that it's on its way to you, and all you have to do is meet it in the middle. Like, it can happen if you can see it clearly. So you write your affirmations in a positive tone and in the present tense. We want to act as if it's already happening. We want to be that person, that future person. How does that future self act when you get the birth that you want, or you gain the confidence and the trust, and you have that mindset that you want? That's why I called this 5-day live event Confident in Birth and Beyond, because it's so powerful. Like, imagine standing in your power in birth, in one of the most transformative, intense, crazy times, standing in your power, holding on, building that confidence, building that trust, having this like unshakable mindset. If you can do that and hold on to that in birth and labor, like, who are you going to be afterwards, postpartum? What kind of partner is that going to make you? What kind of parent is that going to make you? Or a friend or sister or daughter or whatever? Like, I mean, you're a superhero in birth. This is your superpower. And if we can get excited about it, and if we can build the mindset around it, and then like go through this intense, transformative time, who are we coming out on the other end? Can you envision that woman? Let me know. Are you envisioning that woman? How does she talk? How does she feel? How does she act? If you can envision that woman, then you have to embody her right now and be that woman and start to create it. I just love this stuff. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about this stuff? I know some people will say it's like witchy or woo-woo or new age. That's a good one. On my extra additional notes, I'm going to get into how it's not witchy and woo-woo or new age, and how it's actually science. But yeah, this stuff is super powerful. And it's like weird to start off, because it's like you're writing these affirmations, like, for me, I just did this in June. I hired a personal trainer, and for like a fitness goal, I wanted to lose so many pounds. And so she goes, nope, not I want to. I am X amount of pounds lighter. Write it as if you're already that woman. If you're already that woman, you're going to take all the aligned actions to get that result. And then it won't seem so unattainable or so far away. Write it as the woman who is 80 pounds lighter. And then it will be. Alyssa, I agree with New Age, different than what I'm used to. I touched upon it in a class, though, mindfulness. Yeah, what class was that? What kind of class? Definitely mindfulness, new age. All right. So the I am affirmation is that it's set, written, spoken in the present tense as if it's already happening. And the more senses you engage, the quicker the results. So write it, read it, speak it, hear it, act it out as if it's the truth, and it will be. Right? So again, it might be weird at first, like I haven't lost the weight yet, or I haven't had the birth experience yet, or my baby hasn't flipped yet. But if you can envision it, then you can embody it. What is it? Physiological psychology. Wow. That was probably a very interesting class. Very cool. So this is called the law of attraction. Has anyone heard of the law of attraction or The Secret, which was a book that was written and also a DVD that came out with the book? The Secret, it talks about the law of attraction. Has anyone heard of it, read it, watched it? Let me know. So, and can you give me an example too of like, has this applied or have you applied this sort of way of thinking in any other area of your life? Has there been a time where you flipped your mindset about something and saw the results? And what was that for you? Let me know if you've used this before. Maybe you didn't even know you were using it, but now that you think back on it, you're like, yeah, like I did. I totally changed my attitude about something, and this is how it helped me. This is how it worked. Let me know. All right. So the law of attraction brings me to my next point about how, let's see, Alyssa, I did when I tried passing a class. I'm going to pass this class. I will pass this class. It helped. Would totally love to apply this to my future VBAC. Absolutely. And those are great, but I'm going to challenge you. Change I will pass this class or I'm going to pass this class to I passed this class. Present tense, done, already did it. Then you'll start to embody that person who passed the class, who already did it, who had the VBAC. I am that woman. If you already are that woman, you're going to start to pull in those characteristic traits that you need to become that woman, to magnetize that woman. Yes. So the law of attraction, this brings me into all of my extra notes on how this is basically in my brain. It's really just science and it makes a whole lot of sense. So does this make sense for everybody right now, or is this like off the charts, like I can't grasp this, I don't know how this is going to work, this sounds stupid? Where are we at with this stuff? Let me know how you're feeling about this stuff today. All right. So I'm going to start to talk about why it's science, and I'll probably get sidetracked a little bit. So up here in the worksheet where I said, where did I say it? Thoughts. So words become thoughts, thoughts become actions, and actions define who we are. And so this is where people might think like, oh, how could just saying something change the way I act or the way I feel? And it happens because when we put our brain either in a state of fear or a state of relax or even excitement, it creates a chemical reaction in the body, right? Like when you think back to a really great memory and you just get this feeling that comes over you, right? That's like serotonin and oxytocin and dopamine, like all the hormones that we want happening in labor. You know, it's an actual physical reaction in the body when a thought can produce hormones that causes reactions in the body. And it goes the same for the opposite. When we think back to some trauma or some fear or a very sad situation, the body's gonna tense up and produce, the adrenaline and epinephrine, and we're going to get into that fight or flight mode. So thoughts create very visceral body reactions, and we can't deny that. So that's like one reason why we can think of it as science. Let's see. So if we're going to get in, I never took physics in high school or college, but I took some classes too that centered around mindfulness and metaphysics. So meta, the prefix meta meaning beyond, so beyond physics. So we're talking sort of about the energetic world. But physics, let's just talk about straight physics for a minute. Everything has a vibration, right? Like light, waves have a vibration, each different color, right? What's the color spectrum? Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, violet, all vibrate at different frequencies. Sound vibrates at different frequencies. Things are solid matter, our bodies, our desk, whatever. Things are solid matter because it's just thousands of tiny particles vibrating, right? And so everybody has a frequency. And we can raise or lower our frequency based on our thoughts and our actions. And so when we live in a mindset of lack of, or fear, or doubt, or shame, or guilt, right? Those are all lowering our vibration. And just like sides of a magnet, we're going to attract the same thing. Our vibration wants to vibrate with the others in the same vibration. So when we think of lack of and doubt and fear and guilt and shame, we're attracting that as well. You feel me on that? That was like my day today, right? Like one thing irritated me and it snowballed. Everything started to irritate me. I got into that victim mentality, like, of course this would happen, why me? Just today, this is my luck. It's not luck, it's what I'm attracting because I was in this mindset. And then after the last straw, when my husband was like, my car's not safe to drive and you need to come pick me up, I quickly went to that space of, but then I very quickly got out of it and said, you know what? It's going to be fine. And the universe or God or whatever it is, whatever your belief system is, they test you. When your thinking brain wants to keep you safe and you're challenging it and you're like, no, I need to keep moving forward. I need to keep doing this. You're going to get all these little balls thrown at you to test you, to see how bad you really want it. Go back to day one. What are your birth principles? What's your deep down motivation? How determined are you? Even when all these balls are thrown at you, all these tests are being thrown at you, who are you going to be? How are you going to show up? How are you going to remain in those feelings that you created when this stuff happens? Right? So likewise, when we're in the mindset of gratitude and abundance and confidence and trust, we raise our vibration, we attract the same vibration, and then that's when we start to notice all the good things, right? Yeah. I'm going to take a break right here. I'm going to spin the wheel for day 2 prizes. I'm also going to make a post because Melissa hasn't claimed or even responded to her claim for day 1 prizes. So I am going to make an announcement. So all these videos are coming down from the units on Tuesday or Wednesday. I haven't decided yet, but the replays are going to be up until Tuesday or Wednesday, and then they're coming down. So if nobody's claimed prizes by then, we're going to redo it. So I'm going to shuffle and I'm going to spin. All right. Alyssa, it's you. You're on tonight. You get to hear the clap. You get to hear the announcement. It is you. You win. So there's 5. I added a 5th, I believe, prizes you can choose from. There's a $25 gift card to Amazon, a $25 gift card for my services, which can be applied if you don't live nearby. I have a program that I run online that you can apply it towards that. Choose a book from our reading list that is listed in the files of the group. If there's a book in there that you want, if you want a birth ball, I can send that to you. Or the 5th one I saw actually is a birth, like a pregnancy and a birth journal. And I thought that that was really cool. So I'll add that to the reading list or to the prize list. So Alyssa, you won. I will post that in the group, and then reach out to me for details. All right. So getting back to our frequency and our thought patterns, whether we're in a low vibe, yay, I'll have to think about it. That's tough in between the journal and a book. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're tuning in, that you're here, that you're enjoying this and giving me feedback. So happy for it all. So when we're in the either high vibe, abundance, gratitude, confidence, trust, or in the low vibe, guilt, shame, blame, victim, fear, lack of, and we have these thoughts. And so our thoughts, it's kind of, think about a stream, right? Like a stream that runs the same direction every day. It carves a path through the earth, right? So it's carving its path because it runs this direction every single day. It's used to this. And then all of a sudden, like there's a big rock here that moved. And little by little, this stream starts to trickle this way. And it's little at first, maybe it's unnoticeable, but as this path gets bigger, all of a sudden more and more water starts to go this way. So have that vision in your head. This is how thoughts travel through our nervous system. They're called neural pathways. And so when we have the same mindset all the time, we get a stimulus and then it travels to our nervous system through the same pathway all the time. So thoughts of lack and fear and doubt and negativity are all traveling in the same neural pathway. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, you're on this live and you have an epiphany and this big boulder moves out of your way. And all of a sudden, it's like abundance and gratitude and confidence and trust. And so then everything starts to travel this way. We can literally rewire our nervous system. We can literally train our brain. This is amazing, right? I love this stuff. All right, so the bridge that kind of bridges, I think, a very tangible science, right? Are you feeling me on that? Like physics is real, it's legit. Things have a frequency, things have a vibration. It might get a little kind of woo-woo, new agey when we start to talk about energy, but there's like that bridge. It's called the subtle body. And that's the fact that because we're solid matter of tiny little particles vibrating everywhere, like we have this subtle body that surrounds us of like our energy field, right? That you may have heard that before. We have an energy field. And so the subtle body is that bridge between, we're taking it from like legit tangible science to the subtle body. We're kind of surrounded by this energy. I can still get on board with that. And then we get into this sort of, this is less tangible, like maybe kind of harder to understand stuff. And this is talking about the conscious and the subconscious, like that that subliminal messaging that I was talking about, feeding our subconscious what we want it to know and believe, even if it's not true yet. Feed your subconscious these subliminal messages of positivity, of love, of gratitude, of trust, of confidence. Eventually it will filter up to the conscious brain, create those thoughts, create those words, create those actions, and that is how you begin to embody the person that you want to be, that you will be, right? How are we feeling on all this? All right. Those are my notes. I could keep going on and on about this. I think I did a pretty good job of keeping it condensed today. I did a live on this before where I had this little drawing, so I brought it out again. And I'm not an artist, honestly, unless it comes to placenta art. I'll post some of that. Anyone ever see placenta art? Where people make prints of their placenta and it's like the tree of life? I'll post some of my art in the group. Magical. What's magical? Placenta art or this live? You could say both. So I have this drawing of kind of what happens in the brain when our subconscious is trying to keep us safe, and how we kind of get stuck or we get stagnant, we don't take action, we don't move. I wrote the post today. Did I post it in our group? It was like, say this instead of that, right? That all applies to this stuff. I'm going to pull it up anyways, even if I did post it to the group. It was a good post. Let's see. Here we go. Say this instead of that. There is a connection between neurological processes, the neuro, language, linguistic, and behavioral patterns learned through experience, programming. So anyone ever, oh my God, that sounds super cute, placenta art, this topic and the power behind it. Yes, all of it is magical. And I will post that placenta art on the page so you can see it. It's awesome. And so neuro-linguistic programming is what we're saying here. Like neuro being our nervous system, linguistic being our language, how our language affects how we process things, how we act, what we do. And so basically what we say and how we think matters. Thoughts become words, words become action, action becomes character. Choose your thoughts and use your words wisely. Be definitive, declare it. Comment right now something that you declare. What are you declaring? Let me know. Comment. Declare something. What do you want? Be bold. Be decisive. This doesn't mean that you can't change your mind later, but it gets you to take action now. The minute you decide to take action, you raise your vibration. So oftentimes, this was the point I wanted to get to with finding this post. Oftentimes, deciding what decision to make is harder than actually making it and doing it. How often do we sit with ourselves and say, should I? Shouldn't I? I don't know. What do you think? Let me research it. And then there's that unconscious bias when you research. You could find 5 articles that don't support what you want, but you're going to find that one article that does support what you want. And so how many times do we sit in a decision trying to decide, right? Does that make sense? It's like redundant. I'm trying to decide to decide. This keeps us stuck much, much longer than just taking action and moving. The important part being that you can change your mind, but just decide, just take action. So here are a few to highlight. So here's the list. Say this instead of that. Say I will instead of I might. Say yes or no instead of maybe, but just decide. Eliminate altogether. There is no replacement for just. Say already instead of only. Say thank you for instead of I'm sorry. And now we get into some more birthy stuff. Say companion or partner instead of coach. Surge or wave instead of contraction. Sensation or intensity instead of pain. birth path instead of canal, nearly complete instead of transition, breathe down instead of push, birthed instead of delivered, and I am doing it instead of I can't. And so some clarification on some of those. There is no replacement for just. I just or I only have an associate degree. That's me. I used to say that all the time. I only have an associate. Like I was like putting myself down. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. Not just. That's like 10 jobs rolled into one. Using the word just downplays and takes away your worth or your power. So just eliminate it altogether. I'm sorry. Unless you've purposefully, maliciously, knowingly hurt someone or did something wrong, in which you're probably not a sorry person anyways, the things we apologize for don't need apologizing. This too shrinks us down. It places blame on ourselves. It dims our own light in order to make someone else feel better, and there's no need for that. So like if you accidentally spilled something, oh, I'm sorry I did that. Well, I assume that you're sorry. We understand it was an accident. So instead of saying, I'm sorry I spilled that, say thank you for helping me clean that up. Or some examples I used, I'm sorry I was late becomes thank you for understanding that I got held up. I'm sorry I did that, whatever that is, becomes thank you for pointing that out to me. So practice removing just and saying thank you instead of I'm sorry. Take your power back. Don't give it away. Take it back. So I got sidetracked. I have my drawing. What happens when our brain tries to keep us safe and stuck, right? So I'm going to pull back. And you may have seen this before. I did a live and where I used this before. So here we are on our path of life. This squiggly line is our routine, and this red line is change. And so most of us ping pong between the walls because our conscious brain says like, ooh, we're creeping this way. We're starting to make progress, right? We want to make progress over to sunshine and rainbows. So we start to creep this way. But as soon as we face change, our conscious brain is like, nope, I don't know about that. It's different. So then you start to fear and doubt. So then you start to go back. And then this is where your routine is, and this is where you're comfortable. But then when you go backwards, then you start to feel guilty. Oh, I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't hit my goals. Now I feel guilty. Now I feel ashamed. Then we go to the other side of the wall. We feel guilt. We stay here because it's easy. We should on ourselves. Like I should do this. I should do that. We stay safe. We stay stuck. We get depressed. And then we regress. Right? We regress because now we feel guilty that we went backward. So then we start to go forward again with some new goals. We start to get excited. Then we hit this wall of change. Our conscious brain says, no, it's not comfortable. I don't know it. I don't like it. And we ping pong. This is what we do. Little does our thinking brain know that on the other side of change is sunshine and rainbows. That's my drawing. And that's what I have today on mindset. How are you feeling about that? I don't see, unless my phone... What are we declaring? I want you to declare something. Declare something that you want. Say it present tense. I am, I have, this happened. Declare it. Put that energy out there. Decide. Raise your vibration. All right. This is what I have tonight, ladies. I'm going to hang out for one more minute, let you declare something in the comments. Let me know what that is. This video will be saved. It will go into Unit 3 for replay. I will have a watch party for it tomorrow. Let me check something. I think that the homework, so we filled out the sheet through the live, and then I think in the units, let me pull up, there's a little bit of extra homework. Day 3, mindset over mechanics. That's what I called it. I declare my VBAC. Yes, you do. It's awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. Mindset over mechanics. That's what I named it in the unit because it's so true. Right? We can know all the things. We can take the classes and watch the videos and read the articles. We can know all the things, but if we don't start to embody that person who does all those things and we don't practice the things daily, that knowledge is not serving us. It's just taking up space in your brain if you're not using it. So mindset over mechanics. With my one-on-one doula clients, we'll talk about anatomy and physiology a little bit, but mostly like I don't care. I do care. I love anatomy and physiology actually. It's important to know like what the body's doing, but it's also more important to know how to control your mind during a totally intense transformative process. Pam, I have the right and ability to ask for more information or time before making my decision. I love it. Love it. Yep. Say that every day. Every day. That's great. So in the unit's homework action, use this worksheet and the information from the live to fill in the blanks. On the back of it, here's a great one. On the back of this worksheet, make 2 columns. One column is feelings I want in labor and birth. Hi, Nicole. So how do you want to feel in labor and birth? That's one column. You don't even have to get all like, narrative and novelty about it. Just some words. If you want to get super descriptive, if you want to share it in the comments in the unit, I'd love to see what you guys are doing. So column 1, how do I want to feel in labor and birth? Column 2, how will you create that? All right, start to create your birth space and then keep it safe. So for example, I want to feel calm and peaceful, column 1. I will create that with dim lights, soft music, essential oils. So do that tonight on the back of your worksheet. How do I want to feel? And how am I going to create that? So if you hopped on late, there will be the watch party tomorrow, or the video will be saved in the units. Catch the replay anytime. As you're watching the replay, comment replay so that I know that you watched it, so that you can get your entries in, and I will spin the wheel tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about all the options for childbirth education. All right. Thank you, ladies, for joining. I had such a great time. Tonight's my favorite topic. I hope that helped. Let me know. Comment how you're feeling about this topic and like what stood out to you. What was the highlight of tonight? What stood out to you? What helped you the most? What resonated and clicked with you? Let me know that. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night. And thank you for being here. Take care.